Because of my stepmother's lies, my father kicked me out of the house, even though I couldn't walk after the accident. 2 years later, they wanted me to come to their wedding anniversary celebration. 2 years ago, I was in a horrible car accident. A drunk truck driver rear-ended me, and the consequences were devastating. I was bedridden for 3 months. I literally couldn't move, because my whole body was in constant pain. It was hell. But apparently, my father didn't care, because he kicked me out. I was 18 at the time, and I took his car to practice driving before my driver's test, which was scheduled a few days later. I didn't even go far. The accident happened right in our neighborhood. I asked my stepmother for permission, because my father had made it clear that I needed to ask either of them before using the car. Since he was at work, I asked her, and she said yes. Then she completely twisted the story, and claimed I had stolen the car to go party with my friends and show off. And my dad believed her. He didn't even listen to me, he just kicked me out. My stepmother had always acted strange toward me, but I never thought she'd be this malicious, just flat out lying to get rid of me. That was the final straw. She'd been in my life since I was 4, and I didn't even know my biological mom. My mother gave me up right after birth and disappeared. She and my dad were never married, so it was easy for her to walk away. My dad took full custody and raised me on his own. My mom never tried to come back, so when my dad started dating my stepmom, I was actually happy. They got married when I was 7. But even then, I could tell she didn't see me as her daughter, just as her husband's kid. We barely talked during my childhood, she mostly ignored me. But as I got older, it got worse. We constantly argued. Even the smallest things set her off. She would exaggerate everything, complain to my dad about my awful behavior, and he always took her side, even though most of the time, she was the one picking fights. Our relationship was toxic. I was just counting down the days until I could leave for college. But that never happened. I had to move in with my grandparents, because my dad didn't want me around. And it wasn't about money, he owns his own company, we had insurance, the car was covered. It wasn't a financial decision. The only reason he kicked me out was because of her story. She lied and said I had planned to sneak off to a party and took the car without permission. She even claimed she overheard me talking about it and had warned me. Total fiction. All of this came out right after the accident. The doctors said I wouldn't be able to walk for several months. And while I was already suffering, she added to the pain with her lies. We fought constantly. Eventually, I snapped. I screamed at her, accused her of being jealous of my relationship with my dad, and told her she was mentally unstable for gaslighting someone in this condition. That was the last straw for my father. He sent me to live with my grandparents. Thankfully, they took me in. But I was heartbroken. My own father kicked me out when I literally couldn't walk. I told him I'd never be able to look at him the same again. He said I was a spoiled brat who needed discipline, and that he couldn't keep hurting his wife because of me. So, it was clear, he chose her. He didn't trust me. And that hurt the most. I decided then that I would never speak to him again. It was a hard decision, because he was the only family I'd ever really known. I never saw my stepmother as a parent, even if she'd been around since I was little. And I realized, maybe my dad never really saw me as family, either. After that, I decided they didn't deserve to be called my family at all. My grandparents took care of me. They hired a nurse, helped me recover. They were always there. I stayed with them until I healed, then enrolled in college. 2 years passed, and now I'm 1 year away from graduating. I built a new life without my dad and stepmom. I wasn't seeking revenge. But last week, my stepmother reached out to me. She said they were renewing their vows and wanted me to attend. I was stunned and immediately said no. She insisted I had to come, and that my dad would be sending an official invitation soon. She said one of the reasons was that some of my dad's business partners would be there, and they all knew he had a daughter. It would be awkward if I wasn't there. She also said my dad wanted to reconcile, and hoped I'd accept the invitation and leave the past behind. But I couldn't forget how they treated me. I ignored the message. A few hours later, she messaged again, this time insulting me. She called me ungrateful, and said I was petty for rejecting my father's attempt to reconcile. Then she threatened me, told me if I didn't come, I could forget about any inheritance. That I wouldn't get a cent from my father or his business, and that she'd personally make sure of it. That made me snap. She really thought she could manipulate me like that. I blocked her. Until then, I'd only blocked her on social media. This time I blocked her number too. But then she emailed me. She wrote that I had to be at the event, because it was important not just for them as a couple, but also for my dad's business. Again, she was passive-aggressive and threatening, even though they were the ones begging me to come. And that's when I lost it. I posted screenshots of all our messages and shared the entire story publicly, tagging my dad, stepmom, and several of his business partners I found online. I wanted everyone to know the truth about him. And since this event had business implications, I figured it was only fair. The next day, my grandparents told me my dad was freaking out. My post caused serious damage. They were working on a merger with another company, and now the deal might fall through. Some important people stopped responding altogether. My dad's reputation took a big hit. My grandparents think I went too far. They say the real problem was my stepmother, not my dad. Now I'm feeling a little guilty. Maybe I did overdo it by going public with everything.